Hello, friends. Turning 70 is a milestone, one I never imagined reaching so quickly. One moment you're in your 20s, full of plans and energy, and the next, you're waking up in a body that feels different every day, with memories spanning decades. Life changes, priorities shift, and as I've grown older, I've noticed something surprising about myself. I've started avoiding people. This wasn't always the case. I used to be incredibly social, always surrounded by friends and family, attending events, helping out in the community, and being that person everyone could rely on. But somewhere along the way, something changed. At first, I thought it was just me. Now I'm realizing it might be more common than I imagined. Let me explain why. 1. Time feels more precious. At 70, I find myself thinking about time in ways I never did before. It's not just the ticking of the clock or the turning of the calendar, it's the undeniable realization that time is finite. When I was younger, time felt abundant, like an endless river flowing toward an unknowable horizon. I wasted it freely, believing there would always be more, hours spent on idle chatter, relationships that went nowhere, and tasks that brought little joy or meaning. They seemed inconsequential then, but now every moment feels like a gift, and I don't want to squander it. Time isn't just a measurement anymore, it's a companion. Sometimes kind, sometimes harsh, always reminding me to cherish what I have left. It's in the quiet mornings when I sip my coffee and watch the sunrise, savoring the warmth of the cup in my hands. It's in the afternoons when I take long walks, feeling the crunch of leaves underfoot, grateful for the strength still left in my legs. And it's in the evening, sitting in my favorite chair, reflecting on memories of a life well lived. 2. Quality over quantity. I used to fill my time with people and activities, thinking that the more I did, the fuller my life would feel. But I've learned that the opposite is true. It's not about how much you do or how many people you surround yourself with, it's about the quality of those experiences and relationships. Now I choose carefully where and with whom I spend my time. I'd rather have a quiet conversation with someone who truly understands me than attend a crowded gathering where I feel like a stranger in a sea of faces. The truth is, I've become fiercely protective of my time because I've realized how irreplaceable it is. When you're young, you think there's always tomorrow to fix a mistake, rekindle a friendship, or chase a dream. But as you age, you understand that there are fewer tomorrows than you'd like to admit. This doesn't make me sad, it makes me intentional. I don't waste hours on meaningless drama, shallow conversations, or obligations that don't align with my values. Instead, I pour my time into what truly matters, my health, my passions, and the people who bring light into my life. 3. Letting go and finding peace. There's a profound peace in this shift. I've stopped feeling guilty about saying no to things that don't serve me. I no longer feel the need to explain myself when I choose solitude over socializing. It's not that I don't value relationships. In fact, I value them more than ever, but my focus has changed. I want my connections to be genuine, my conversations to be meaningful, and my days to feel full, not just busy. Time at this stage in life is also about letting go of regrets over wasted moments, letting go of grudges that once seemed important, and letting go of the need to do it all. I've learned that it's okay to slow down and simply be. There's no rush anymore, no race to the finish line. The best moments aren't in grand achievements, but in the small, quiet joys, a favorite song, a warm breeze, a heartfelt laugh. So yes, time feels more precious than ever, but it also feels richer. I've stopped chasing it and started savoring it. And in doing so, I've found a kind of contentment I never knew was possible. At 70, I don't want to waste a single moment, not because I'm afraid of running out, but because I finally understand what a gift it truly is. 4. Relationships change. As the years pass, relationships transform in ways you might never anticipate. Some grow stronger, deepened by shared memories and mutual understanding, while others fade quietly, like a book you've put down and never picked up again. At 70, I've come to accept that not all relationships are meant to last forever, and that's okay. What I've learned is that the people who remain in your life during this stage are often the ones who truly matter. When I was younger, relationships were everything. I surrounded myself with friends, colleagues, neighbors, and acquaintances, always trying to maintain connections and be part of something larger. I was the person who remembered every birthday, showed up for every event, and tried to keep everyone happy. But over time, I realized how much energy it took to maintain relationships that didn't always nurture me in return. Life has a way of naturally pruning the branches of your social tree. People move away, get busy, or change in ways that make it hard to stay connected. Some relationships end with heartbreak, others simply with time. I used to take these losses personally, wondering what I could have done differently to hold on. Now I understand that life's journey pulls us all in different directions. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and recognizing which is which has brought me a sense of peace. But it's not just others who change, we change too. I'm not the same person I was at 40 or even 60. My priorities have shifted. I value simplicity, kindness, and authenticity more than ever before. 5. Trust becomes more complicated. The older you get, the more you realize how fragile trust can be. In my younger years, I trusted easily, believing in the goodness of people and their intentions. But as life unfolded, I encountered betrayal in ways that left me more cautious. Trust once lost is hard to regain, and at 70, I find myself far more selective about whom I let into my inner circle. It's not that I'm bitter or angry, I'm not, but experience has taught me to be careful. Over the years, I've been let down by people I never expected to hurt me, a friend who turned out to be more interested in what I could do for them than in who I was, a business partner who prioritized their gain over our shared vision, even family members who, for reasons I may never fully understand, distanced themselves in ways that left me questioning what went wrong. These experiences left me with a choice: close myself off entirely, or approach new relationships with a mix of openness and caution. I chose the latter, but that caution comes with a price. When someone new enters my life, my first instinct isn't excitement or curiosity, it's suspicion. I find myself wondering, what do they want? What's their motive? It's not a mindset I enjoy, but it's one born out of necessity. However, I've also learned that trust isn't just about others. It's about trusting yourself, trusting your instincts when something doesn't feel right, trusting your ability to walk away from toxic people, no matter how long they've been in your life, and trusting that it's okay to protect your heart, even if it means keeping your distance. Still, trust is a complicated thing. I've met people in recent years who have restored my faith in humanity, even if just a little. A kind stranger who helped me when I dropped something at the store, a neighbor who checks in during bad weather. These moments remind me that while trust may be harder to give now, it's not impossible. At this stage in life, I've come to terms with the fact that trust will always be a delicate balance. It's not about building walls so high that no one can climb them. It's about creating gates strong enough to keep out harm but open enough to let in love, kindness, and connection when it feels right. Ultimately, relationships and trust have become simpler in their complexity. I cherish the few people I trust wholeheartedly, and keep my boundaries firm with those who haven't earned it. And while I may never trust as easily as I once did, I've come to value the relationships I do have even more deeply. At 70, that feels like a gift worth treasuring. 6. Embracing solitude and peace. Now I've stopped apologizing for protecting my time and energy. I've stopped feeling guilty for choosing solitude over socializing, and I've stopped wondering if there's something wrong with me for needing space to breathe, reflect, and simply be. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, maybe you've found yourself making similar choices. Perhaps you've started to pull away from relationships that no longer serve you or situations that leave you feeling drained instead of fulfilled. Maybe you've noticed that you value quality over quantity when it comes to the people in your life. It's not an easy transition. Sometimes it feels like letting go of parts of yourself. But the truth is, this stage of life is about shedding what no longer fits. It's about creating space for peace, joy, and the things that truly matter. If this resonates with you, I want you to know you're not alone. There's no rulebook for how to navigate this part of life, no one-size-fits-all approach. Some people thrive in big social circles well into their golden years, and that's wonderful for them. But if you're like me and you find comfort in solitude or smaller, deeper connections, that's just as valid. At 70, I've learned that it's okay to let go of what no longer serves you. It's okay to prioritize yourself, protect your peace, and live life on your own terms. In doing so, I've found a kind of freedom I never knew existed, a freedom to be fully, unapologetically myself. So if you find yourself pulling away from people or choosing solitude more often, don't see it as a loss. See it as a gain. It's a gift to carve out a life that feels right for you, even if it looks different from what others expect. Here's to this chapter of life, a chapter of reflection, growth, and the courage to live authentically. May we all find the peace we deserve, embracing this chapter at 70 with grace and gratitude. 7. The beauty of aging. At 70, I've come to see life not as a series of endings but as a series of beginnings. Each stage brings its own lessons, challenges, and beauty, and this one is no different. This chapter of life, with its quiet simplicity and deeper reflection, feels like a culmination, a time to embrace who I've become and let go of the things that no longer matter. When you're young, you often live with an urgency, a constant need to do more, achieve more, and be more. There's a restlessness that drives you forward, fueled by the belief that the future holds endless possibilities. But as you age, that restlessness fades. You stop chasing what's out there and start appreciating what's right here. It's not about giving up, it's about shifting your focus. This chapter is about simplicity, savoring the small moments that often go unnoticed, the morning light streaming through the window, the laughter of a grandchild, the familiar warmth of a loved one's embrace. These are the moments that anchor me and remind me of what truly matters. It's also about reflection. At 70, I find myself looking back on the life I've lived, not with regret, but with gratitude. There were triumphs that filled me with pride, mistakes that taught me resilience, and heartbreaks that shaped me in ways I couldn't understand at the time. Each experience, no matter how small, has woven the tapestry of my life. But this chapter isn't just about looking back. It's about looking forward, too. There's a quiet excitement in knowing that I still have time to create, to learn, and to grow. It's a time to focus on what brings me joy, whether that's nurturing a garden, exploring a new hobby, or simply taking time to be still. One of the most beautiful parts of this chapter is the freedom it brings, the freedom to let go of expectations, both those imposed by others and those I've placed on myself. I no longer feel the need to prove anything or meet some arbitrary standard of success. Instead, I've embraced the idea that simply being is enough. This chapter has also taught me the importance of saying no to obligations that drain me, no to relationships that no longer serve me, and no to the pressures of trying to be everything to everyone. In doing so, I've made space for the things that truly matter: peace, love, and connection. There's a kind of courage that comes with aging, a willingness to live authentically and unapologetically. I no longer fear being judged for my choices or misunderstood for my actions. At 70, I've earned the right to prioritize my well-being, speak my truth, and live life on my terms. 8. Gratitude and peace. This chapter is also about gratitude for the life I've lived, the people I've loved, and the memories I've made. Gratitude for the strength that has carried me through tough times, and the joy that has illuminated the good ones. And gratitude for the simple fact that I'm still here, with more life to live and more lessons to learn. So, what does embracing this chapter truly mean? It means accepting the past without clinging to it, embracing the present with open arms, and looking to the future with hope. It means finding beauty in the everyday, cherishing the relationships that matter, and letting go of anything that doesn't bring peace. It's not always easy. There are moments of loneliness, of wondering what comes next, of missing the people and places that once filled my life. But even in those moments, there's a quiet strength, a reminder that I've made it this far and that I have everything I need within me to keep going. At 70, I've come to realize that life is less about the big milestones and more about the small, meaningful moments that make up our days. This chapter, though different from the ones that came before, is no less important. In many ways, it feels like the most authentic, the the most honest, and the most peaceful part of my journey. Embracing this chapter is not about accepting limitations, it's about celebrating possibilities. It's about honoring the life I've lived while remaining open to whatever comes next. And most of all, it's about living fully, deeply, and unapologetically, one day at a time. At 70, life has taught me that it's not about how much you do or have, but about the quality of what you cherish, the moments, the connections, and the peace you carry within. I've found joy in simplicity, strength in solitude, and fulfillment in focusing on what truly matters. Avoiding people isn't about bitterness, it's about protecting the peace I've worked hard to find. If you're walking a similar path, know that it's okay to choose what feels right for you. This chapter is ours to embrace in whatever way brings us the most contentment. Here's to living authentically and savoring every moment we're given. Take care, and thank you for being part of this journey. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.